Hi everyone, I'm Hayley. Welcome back to What the Film School. For today's video, I'm going to talk about all the clubs that I joined in film school. Obviously, when you go to university, you'll be told that joining a club is a great way to make friends and meet new people. And that's all true. Joining clubs is great for that reason, and that was part of it for me, but mostly I just wanted to find film-related clubs so I could have a smaller group of people to hang out with or to meet that were also interested in the same things as me. So my freshman year, when I was still going to the state university, I think I took a look at the list of clubs that were being offered that sort of had something to do with film and TV. And what I ended up finding was a place called PSU TV, which was sort of like a club, but sort of like an organization that worked on campus to create online content. It wasn't a job, it wasn't anything I had to apply to, it was just something that I joined in my spare time because I knew that they made content for on-campus life, events, etc., things that were going on around the school, and I thought that that would be really cool opportunities. I don't think it was too difficult to join it. I think I just kind of signed up or went to an info session, and it turned out that it was a pretty small group of people just kind of working in the basement of the student center, and they met a couple times a week, and they had organized events that they were shooting every week, and I signed on as a camera person. So I spent a lot of my free time, a lot of my weekends, my freshman year, going to these events that I talked about and filming them, but what was great about the club too is that they had a lot of other opportunities for people interested in film or TV. So you could be a camera person, you could edit, you could also be an on-camera talent, kind of whatever you wanted to do. That was a really great place to do it. I ended up filming several football games, I ended up filming several concerts. There were just a wide range of things that I got to experience. It was really great stuff that I actually later put on my resume. If you're looking at clubs and you see something similar to that and you're interested in definitely doing more of that hands-on thing, then something like that where you can maybe work for like an on-campus TV network or something that puts out online content like the club that I just described. And I'll also link that club below because they're still doing stuff. I mean, obviously I haven't been involved in it for a few years, but I can link some of the stuff I worked on when I was there so you get a sense of like, that's kind of what an on-campus position would look like, or an on-campus club if you're looking to go to a university that has something similar to that. When I got to NYU my sophomore year, I looked to see if there was something similar to the PSU TV thing that I had done. There was, but it seemed very exclusive, and it seemed like more of a job that you kind of had to apply to. For this video and for these purposes, I'm going to tell you just about the two main clubs that I joined in my time at NYU. And these are both film-related clubs. So a little disclaimer before I get started talking about these clubs. I think because NYU is such a large university with, thousands and thousands of students, a lot of the clubs are a bit more exclusive. So the two clubs I'm going to talk about with you today are ones that I actually had to apply to get into. Again, they were just volunteer positions, but I think because they couldn't accept everyone, there simply wasn't enough capacity for everyone. These are just the ones that I applied to and that I got into. Sophomore year, the first club that I got into is called the Fusion Film Festival. Now, this was one that ran from the beginning of the school year until mid-March, right before the school year ended. And basically the purpose of the club was not only to make this festival happen at the end of the year, but also to kind of put on events throughout the year that had to do with women in film. So if you look it up online, Fusion Film Festival is all about, supporting women in film, making sure women in film have their voice, and just celebrating and screening and showing and telling people about what women are doing in the industry. So this was a club, obviously, as a female filmmaker, was very dear to my heart, and I really wanted to get involved with it. And I got lucky enough to be put on the PR team for the festival. I had been working in that since sophomore year up until senior year, working in the same department, and basically just kind of spreading the word of the festival to people. Fusion Film Festival is actually only at NYU at the moment, but there are definitely similar types of clubs or organizations or festivals at other schools that you can look into. It is open to the public to view, but it technically is, an on-campus club. And if you're not going to a university, and if your university doesn't happen to have a film festival club or whatever it might be that you can join, if there's a film festival in your area, oftentimes you can volunteer at those and you can go to the festival for free basically if you volunteer. Joining any kind of film festival, if you're interested in just seeing how that works, or even if you apply with your own film to one, or you just kind of want to get the feeling of what it's like to run or manage a film festival, then a club like this is the great option because you get to see all the behind the scenes work of what happens to get all the guest speakers, get all the events set up. My last note about the Fusion Film Festival Club is that there were so many departments within it. Since I was doing PR, that gave me the opportunity to learn something new, explore it, and also use that skill to contribute to the festival overall. The second and last club, or if you want to call it a club, it was more of an organization that I joined at NYU, is called Delta Kappa Alpha. But it is actually a co-ed cinema fraternity. It is professional, and it is not really like a typical fraternity, but it is a very reputable and respectable fraternity that exists at several film schools across the US, and hopefully one day they'll actually become international, but that's still in the works. It is like a typical fraternity in the sense that you do have to rush for it, you do have to do that application process. But again, it's not like a fraternity because it is professional, like I said, so that means that there's no hazing involved. There's, obviously, it's men and women, so there's, you know, not gonna be any like frat boys or what have you, or sorority people. So I feel like I got lucky getting in at the point that I did because the chapter for Delta Kappa Alpha at NYU had actually ended a few years before I got into it, and the people who were like basically in the fraternity when I joined were the ones who revived it. So they were kind of, we called them the founding members because they brought the fraternity back to the school. I knew the president, which was really helpful because I had a class with him, and he was like, yeah, you should look into this. I think this would be a great opportunity. And I had another friend who was already in that fraternity as well, and he suggested that I apply to it. So I did the whole rushing process, and I managed to get accepted to it sophomore year. One of the main reasons I wanted to go into Delta Kappa Alpha was because I was looking to make friends outside of class, because I had just transferred to NYU sophomore year, and I felt like I wasn't really connecting with as many people in the classroom as I wanted to, so I thought that this would be a great way to basically hang out with film people, you know, and talk about film. Unfortunately though, I actually didn't end up making really good friends in the fraternity until like my junior and senior year, because every year obviously people graduate, new people come in, so it's kind of a constantly changing environment, which is really great though at the end of the day because you're meeting so many new people and there's so many opportunities to like talk to people. And obviously within the club, like the other clubs I talked about, there are different departments that you can join. So, you know, it kind of has the hierarchy of like you have the president, the secretary, vice president, etc. So you can take on leadership positions in the club, which is really great. But you can also be like a head of a committee. So I was head of philanthropy one year, and then I was also head of the retreat committee another year. So I got to plan the little weekend adventure that we had all together. Definitely a club or a fraternity like Delta Kappa Alpha, you get out of it what you put in, I think, because, you know, obviously it is dependent on who you're with and how much time you can spend on it because, you know, everybody gets busy, people have varying schedules as well, but to me, I felt like I was gonna put a lot into it because I wanted to make a lot of friends and I wanted to go to all of the events I could possibly go to because we worked hard to like put on panels, put on movie screenings, have speakers at them, you know, there were a lot of really cool things that were going on, and I felt like, why would I join a club if I didn't have the time or the energy to put into that? So definitely coming out of school and coming out of the club, I felt like I got out of it what I wanted to because I had made the friends that I was hoping to make. Kind of the number one thing that people say when they join the fraternity, or what they're looking for when they want to join the fraternity, is that they're looking for a reliable group of people that they can basically turn to get help. So a lot of people from the club work on sets together. Say it's the day before shooting and your producer drops out or something like what happened to me. You can turn to that group of people and say, hey, I need somebody to really help me out, and you can pretty much guarantee that someone either will help you themselves or they'll know somebody that can help you. So it's just kind of having a closer knit group of people. Like I said, film school was quite large, so having, you know, 60 or so people to kind of rely on was actually really great. I'd love to talk to you more about Delta Kappa Alpha in the future. I think it deserves its own video because, like I said, it was such a big part of my school experience, and definitely it's worth researching, as I said as well. There's so much going on. One of the bigger things that I think is really cool about it is that we partner with an organization called Serious Fun, which was created by Paul Newman, who is actually a former member of Delta Kappa Alpha when he was younger. Basically, it is a summer camp for kids with disabilities to go and just have fun and enjoy themselves, and a lot of people who are part of Delta Kappa Alpha have the opportunity to go and volunteer there. So little things like that are not necessarily film related, but still things that you can give back to the community and just enjoy it. You know, it's about volunteering your free time to do something that you care about. So in summation, I just want to say that looking into clubs at whatever college you're going to, or even just in life, you can definitely find organizations like these that aren't attached to any university, and you can definitely find your niche if you have a particular interest. Look into ways that you can share that with others, or find a group of people that you can hang out with, whether it's hands-on stuff or more behind the scenes work. Definitely check out what I have already mentioned here with festivals or a professional co-ed fraternity. If you have any questions about these clubs, definitely leave them down in the comments, and be sure to like the video if you liked the video. And also don't forget to subscribe and check out my website, wtfilmschool.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys to all of you that have subscribed already. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!